Hello and welcome to the Bitcoin Bob Show. Today, we'll be discussing the history of fiat currency. Fiat currency refers to money that is declared as legal tender by a government, but is not backed by a physical commodity like gold or silver. Instead, its value is based on the government's guarantee that it can be used to settle debts, pay taxes, and purchase goods and services. The concept of fiat currency dates back to ancient China, where paper money was first used during the Tang dynasty in the 7th century. The notes were backed by the government and could be exchanged for goods and services. This system of paper money was later adopted by other civilizations, including the Mongols and the Persians. In Europe, paper money was first used in Sweden in the 17th century, and it was quickly adopted by other countries, including England and France. However, in the early days of paper money, it was often not backed by any tangible assets, and this led to inflation and currency devaluation. To combat this issue, some countries began to link their paper money to precious metals like gold and silver. This meant that the value of the currency was based on the value of the metal, and this helped to stabilize the currency and prevent inflation. The gold standard became widely adopted in the late 19th century, with many countries using it to back their currency. However, the system began to break down during World War I, as countries needed to print more money to finance the war effort. This led to inflation and currency devaluation, and many countries abandoned the gold standard in the aftermath of the war. In the 20th century, fiat currency became the norm, with governments around the world printing money and determining its value through monetary policy. This allowed for greater flexibility in the economy, but it also led to inflation and currency devaluation, especially during times of economic crisis. One of the most significant changes in the history of fiat currency occurred in 1971, when the United States abandoned the gold standard. This meant that the US dollar was no longer backed by gold, and its value was determined by the market and government policies. This decision had a significant impact on the global economy, as the US dollar was the world's reserve currency. Today, almost all countries use fiat currency, and its value is determined by government policies, interest rates, and other economic factors. While it has its advantages, such as flexibility in monetary policy, it also has its drawbacks, including inflation and currency devaluation. And that's a brief history of fiat currency. Thanks for listening to the Bitcoin Bob Show.